Good morning, Dr. Jan, all the distinguished guests there and the audience. I do not remember exactly who are the audience there. I expect that all the students are there, all the researchers are there, and some may be invited guests. Thank you, Dr. Jan, giving me this opportunity. I'm basically from the academics and then into industry. Today, I will be talking about this pitch for traditional knowledge-driven innovations and the sustainable bioeconomy. What we have to remember here, some keywords, especially the students, if you see these keywords, one, I'm talking about the traditional knowledge within the bracket, because there are so many things involved in traditional. Whatever bioresources we have around, whatever associated knowledge we have around, and whatever we have been
Sir,
at
you are
maintaining.
muted.
I'm muted? No, just a minute.
Yeah, it's okay. Because
Am I muted now? Hello? Okay, so you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So what I was talking about, this traditional thing first, and then innovation, bioeconomy, and sustainability. The first thing is traditional means whatever is available to us in terms of bioresources, in terms of the knowledge associated with the bioresources around, whatever has been maintained by our ancestors are like old generations, and it is available to us. So that is all like traditional. Then we have innovations in place. What exactly we want from all these bioresources, from associated traditional knowledge, and what is the need of what exactly we need to do, and how we really move ahead. Then we are talking about the bioeconomy. It is the need of hour today. Even Government of India, we have Bio E3 policy in place. We are talking about bioresources and bioeconomy, bioresources driven by economy. And then end of the day, everything has to be sustained. It has to be a sustainability, that factor there. So what is available to us today? What are the opportunities that is available today? Very rich, as we see here. We have very rich bioresources available with us, like more than 18,000 uh, plus angiospermic flora. Then we have more than 8,500 species that are utilized in healthcare benefits. Then we are blessed with endemic species, and that is our strength. Most of the time, we actually work on so many species, but we forget the importance of endemics, which is very, very important for us to understand, because these endemic species, they do not have access to outside world, and it is our property. We have to really, think about it. Uh, there are so many, databases that have been created across, like TKDL, Traditional Knowledge Digital Library. Then we have NAPRALERT, Natural Products Alert by University of Illinois, where our friend Dr. Ikhlas Khan works now. We have to remember that, in olden days, or maybe in a long period, CDRI, the Central Drug Research Institute, they spent so many, years and decades, but they could evaluate only hardly a few species. So if you see here the figure, the plant samples they collected 3,789, and the plant species which they could evaluate in this whole duration, it is about 3,500 species. We are very rich, like all kinds of biogeographical zone here. You all know that we have all kinds of ecosystems in place, right from cold desert to desert, ocean, and coastal flora. Then we have mangroves, we have Himalayan belt, we have central India, then we have rainforest in the northeast and Konkan region or Western Ghats. So we are very rich in terms of biodiversity. You talk about the species diversity, and on the left hand side, if you see the genetic right diversity, it is Rajma bean that I'm talking about here. So we have lot many specific and infra-specific variations available to us. Now let's remember Dr. S.K. Jain. Sudhanshu Kumar Jain, who is revered as a father of Indian ethnobotany. He actually initiated this whole program of ethnobotany in the country way back in 1960s, and he created a a huge number of scientists and the researchers across. He trained so many researchers, uh, starting from 70s, 80s, and then continued even up to last breath. He expired, at the age of 95, but he created the knowledge base that he created is tremendous. See, today what we have in India, we have on Ethnobotany, we have more than 3,500 papers published. We have more than 800 books now, and we have more than 75 dedicated journals which are actually publishing good papers on ethnobotany. Now we, even as we are also recently, they have accepted, and we are coming out with a new journal on traditional knowledge very soon. CSIR has already in place. We have ethnobotany journal also from Society of Ethnobotanists. So this is a wealth of knowledge that have been created, past maybe so many decades, right from 1960s. You think about traditional knowledge, how it is actually documented, how our ancestors documented all this knowledge wealth for us, and it is our responsibility to maintain all these things. Today, what we are saying is we are just researching on our ancient knowledge. We are not creating much. We are just going back to our old literature, our ancient literature, and we are actually working on those knowledge base, and we are trying to innovate. We are trying to come up with some useful information for the humanity. Now, if you see the ethnomedicine literature in India, so we have practically answers for all kinds of diseases in ethnomedicine. You talk about gastrointestinal, you talk about respiratory, inflammatory, antiparasitic, skin disorders, and so on. Even for CNS system, like Brahmi, we say. For all, this is a big problem now. The anxiety, the stress management, metabolic disorders, they are the big problems for the society today. And if you go back to our ancient literature, we have all the answers in our literature available to us. Only thing is we have to use modern techniques and tools to validate it and to make it globally acceptable, even for the domestic market and also for the global players. So that is our responsibility, and that's how the innovation. Hello. Okay.
Yes.
Uh, if you see the publications of Dr. Jain, he published this dictionary in 1991. And then again, with Vartika Jain, he published this compendium in 2016. There's a huge gap. But if you see, there's a lot of species that have been added, because earlier we did not have access to all the literature available, and there were few papers in the hard copy form. Today we have access, online access of many journals and the many knowledge systems, and we can really maybe incorporate all this information there. Now if you see the achievement, I mean, how ethnobotany helped the science and the humanity, you see, like aspirin, which has come from ethnobotany lead, codeine, papaverine, colchicine, for gout. This is the only medicine today which is very effective. Then we have digitoxins. We are talking about this CBD from cannabis, you know, and we are talking about the curcumin also. That is also from, it has a traditional system base. Then vinblastine, artemisinin, and a few are the, like metformin also, it has a history in, our ancient system. So these are the classical drugs now today, they are being used. And if you see the strength of ethnobotany, is my friend in Jayantia Hills in Meghalaya, Dr. Kerhom Pekinten. He treats the cancer patients with his own herbs. He has treated more than 100 cancer patients. He has done all kinds of clinical trials with his herbs. So this is the strength of our ethnobotany, our traditional knowledge. So it can really take care of any kinds of disease. Only thing is we have to understand, we have to know the potential of these species and the associated knowledge. How we keep that, this tradition alive, that is our responsibility. Now, there is another stream when we are talking about this traditional knowledge and the different societies, how this knowledge is distributed amongst different folks. So, how to understand that, how to compare that use pattern of the bioresources among different societies, that is important for us. When we study different cultures and when we you know capture their knowledge base, and then when you start comparing, we have brilliant like information available to us. So we have to understand the strength and limitations of those knowledge base, establish the credibility of folk claim. That has been done by many organizations. CSIR have been instrumental in that. There are many other organizations. Even when I was in my earlier organization, Piramal Life Sciences, I created a plant extract library of 8,400 extracts, wherein more than 2,900 species were represented. And we actually validated all the, uh, ethnobotany medicinal knowledge in certain, segments. For example, like, we had evaluated the whole library for PI3K or inflammation, diabetes, and many other areas that were of our interest. So how to establish credibility? We found very interesting results there, and we saw that many of the, folk claims, they were actually, today they were being used in our modern medicine. So the uniqueness is important. This cross-cultural concept I started in way back in 1986 under Dr. S.K. Jain, when he suggested me this is the area we should look into, and then we should utilize this kind of studies. Then we went further, like Dr. S.K. Jain, he had a project for Brazil comparing knowledge of Brazilian flora with the Indian flora, and what are the similarities, what are the dissimilarities in the uses pattern. So how it helps, basically, it helps us to reduce pressure on the species sometimes. For example, in one society, somebody is using only roots parts and he's uprooting the whole plant. In another society, they must be using the same plant, but only the aerial parts for treating the same disorder or the illness. Okay, so we can educate the other society how to really, not to uproot the plant, but use only the aerial parts. So this is exchange of information. This is the part of like our program, like ethnobotanists, they can play an important role there. So this, like when we study cross-cultural ethnobotanical studies, so we take care of like all the information on ethnic communities and then on the biological resources. So bioresources are very important, whether they are available, are they endemic? Now, how the tribal people they're collecting, how they're preserving, how they're processing, what are the uses pattern, which part actually they are using, what is the uniqueness, and how they are sustaining the whole resources. So coming to like ethnomedicine and drug discovery, this is one stream I was working in, and we found is very interesting because whatever information we document in the field, they are limited to few like sentences. If you see most of the papers, the old papers, they would simply mention Ageratum conjugoides. The leaves are made into a paste and then applied on the wounds for stopping the bleeding and all that. But that is not done. If you have to utilize the information, you have to really go in deep. You have to deep dive into that. You have to get data on healers, how actually they are really accepted in the society, all kinds of diagnostic things, how they are, what is the concept of disease there, what are the symptoms they are actually documenting, how they are seeing the symptoms. Sometimes ethnobotanists, they go in the field and they write this plant is made in so and so, this is the preparation, and it is used in the cancer. See, this is not my domain. We are not expert in our medical sciences. Unless we have a medical doctor in our team, we cannot write the disease there. We have to write only symptoms. Okay, that is very important for us. You write the symptoms, exactly these were the symptoms. This is how the tribal people, they were preparing it and they were using it orally or maybe topically, whatever way, but you write only those parts. And when you bring this information to your lab, you talk to medical doctors and show him this is how he was doing. He would really infer that, he will tell it that, okay, this could be the disease. Then you again confirm and reconfirm. So what is important now in the field when we go there? So how these tribal people, they are preparing their things, how they're removing toxins. This is very important today. If you see now the problems basically across the world, that is safety. Safety is very, very important. Toxicity is very, very important. Everybody is talking about the safety. When we are talking about the plant-based medicines, safety is utmost important. Today, if you are from that stream, our curcumin, our ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is our product, okay? But now if you see today, in Europe, these people, they are concerned about the safety of ashwagandha. So unless it is actually documented, all these things, then nobody can question that, how they're taking care of this. And then science can help in that. See, for example, they are putting everything in the fresh water, running the stream. They are removing the toxins. This is the way they are removing the toxins. What is the mode of administration, then doses, duration of, treatment, and so on. There are so many things into it. Then we talk about the ceutics, what are the doses form, how the ingredients, they are mixed, how they are, what kind of composition they have, the compatibility of ingredients. They cannot see, they do not simply mix something. There is a science behind that. See, we all should remember our ancestors, they were the far better scientists than us. Far, far better, I'm telling you. They actually tried to put all these things in a very simpler language, very simpler manner, so the layman can understand. They did not write everything, all kinds of science in their texts, because they knew the general layman, he would not understand there. Today, if we are worshipping Tulsi, why we are worshipping? Because our ancestors, they attached something, some taboo to it. They said you have to worship every morning in the morning in your courtyard. But they knew if we worship every day, we will conserve that plant. We will respect that plant. And by default, these leaves will be used by somebody because it has that medicinal value. So very, intelligently, very brilliantly, they have put the science in our traditions, in our, day-to-day life. So we have to really dig. We have to go into detail, all this information, and we have to find the appropriate person in the society who have that kind of knowledge, because these people are very, very limited now. Now, what are the factors basically affecting this knowledge base? You see the environment condition today. You see the need and the knowledge base, because people are shifting, they are migrating. The new generations, they are not accepting that knowledge, or they do not want to learn also. Even for this Karom Peckinton, when I was talking to him in Jayantia Hills, he was not ready to pass on this knowledge to next generation. I convinced him. It took me 2 years to convince him. You have to educate your children. You have to tell, you have to pass on this knowledge, very precious knowledge. Now he has accepted, and he is passing on all this information to his elder daughter now. So this is very important, no? Then faith and interest, dependency and credibility. Whether they are really depending on the bioresources or the traditional knowledge, what is the credibility, whether they are accepted, whether it is accepted by others, peers or not. Somebody like ethnobotanists, we have to go there, and it is our responsibility to really, know their knowledge wealth, then make them understand the importance of that knowledge wealth. Because other people in the society also, for some reason, they may not be accepting, but you have to convince them, you have to tell them, okay? And then share that knowledge widely, because this kind of knowledge, by, in the next generation, this is just shifting, they're just disappearing. So it is our responsibility. It is not only that society, It is the person who is visiting them and telling them this is the importance of your knowledge. Show them how the world is actually running after natural products, how everybody is talking about the wellness program, the nutraceuticals, and all these things. Okay. Now, if you see, how to evaluate the local, formulations and what would be the benefit sharing, I think I would not go in detail at the moment. You see now how we are seeing the medicinal plants or the bioresources and the associated knowledge in different stream. One is ethnomedicine and folk medicine. Then we have traditional medicines, a codified system like Ayush, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, and all that. Okay. Then we have another stream like proprietary medicines, the herbal medicines, or the preventive medicines. And then we have another stream now, nutraceutical or wellness support, where we are maybe concentrating that we are talking about the one compound, pure compound, or maybe combination of pure compounds, and coming out with this kind of formulations for wellness support. We are not essentially talking about the disease and the cure, basically, because that cannot be claimed under nutraceuticals, but we are coming with this kind of preventive things. Then there is another stream called phytopharmaceuticals, where we are trying to identify the marker compounds. Now, see, for example, at least one biomarker should be there. Earlier, there was a requirement, two biomarkers. We are still debating on that, how many biomarkers should be there and how many analytical markers should be there. But this is another stream. We are still working on this. We have botanic drug where the criteria is very stringent. So they are different stream when we are talking about the plants and the associated knowledge to these things. This is one sector that maybe some students or some of you may be interested. Nutraceutical industry. Way back, I come from Sami Sabinsa group. In Sami Sabinsa, our founder, Dr. Majid, he started this industry in the country way back in 1991. Okay. And today, we have more than 300 different industries, small or medium or maybe large scale industries. They are working on this sector. So today we have more than 300 nutraceutical industry in the country. See the potential of this particular sector. Now it is about 1.5 billion dollars. This is a basically export we are talking about, which is very less compared to Indian biodiversity and associated knowledge. We are still working on that. I'm also a task force member of this particular Nutra Task Force Committee of the country. But then we have to do a lot in this stream, and it has a huge potential. Now we are talking about $600 billion industry now. It is going to be maybe more than 700, plus. Now, for us, what is important here? We have to take care of the downstream stakeholders. We have to take care of the upstream stakeholders. End of the day, whatever we are saying, one is saving the ancient knowledge, trying to maybe conserve that. And then in talking about their economy, bioeconomy, and the plant-based economy, and then talking about the whole supply chain, how these resources need to be maintained, how they need to be sustained. That is also important for us to maintain. This is one example I'll share with you in 2 minutes time, how a particular crop through innovation from traditional knowledge was brought into cultivation and large scale cultivation. And today, this is the livelihood of more than 10,000 farmers in the South India. This is Coleus forskohlii, the only source of forskolin, that compound. Okay. So this is basically, we are using it for weight management and lean body mass. And now we have even one more drug for glaucoma. This is Okifor that we are coming out with. So when Dr. Majid actually, he saw this plant, this molecule was discovered by Hext Pharmaceutical. They left it when they left actually India, and they sold everything to Piramal. And after that, Dr. Majid realized the potential of this particular forskolin compound. He actually worked with the farmers in South India. He promoted cultivation. Initially, these farmers, they were not ready. They were not accepting. whether it used to be cultivated or not, because they did not know about the species. But then later, he actually convinced them, made them to cultivate the species. Today, it is actually, in our cultivation also, we are cultivating more than 2,500 acres, this Coleus forskohlii in south. So now, from wild, how it was brought to the cultivation, then to industries, to commerce, and now it is a big product in Japan and in Korea and many other countries for us. This is another that everyone knows about this. This is turmeric, and turmeric basically, if you see Ministry of Commerce, they have this first product in their website. If you go to one district, one product initiative, the Lakadong, turmeric, basically they talk about this is restricted to Jaintia Hills in Meghalaya, this particular variety of turmeric, and it has a very high percentage of curcumin. We have got one sample where it was 8.2% of curcumin, which is very, very high compared to any other species in any other variety in the country. Generally, we get 2.5 to 3.5% curcumin in the turmeric. Okay, so this kind of varieties need to be protected, and now they have this one district one product program. This is Lakadong turmeric, and it has a huge potential now. So what is important here? Important is critical volume. How to really come out this kind of volume through cultivation or through introduction wherever it is possible, and create that kind of volume so that industry can utilize this particular crop, whatever we discover. Then what could be the input cost? What could be the technology involved? What kind of variations are there? What are the competitions basically for other products and other things? Then what kind of value we can add to the resource, and how we can give the benefit to the society from where it has actually originated. Okay, this lady on the left-hand side, if you see, she is Mrs. Trinity. She is a Padma Shri. She is known for this Lakadong turmeric promotion. These are various product that is on the right hand side. If you see, this is all our Swami Savinsa product, curcumin C3 complex and all that. We are actually, world leader in curcumin. This is another species, ashwagandha. We all know that. I think in Gujarat, Rajasthan, people are cultivating now. It is a very good crop, but at the same time, we have to take care of quite a few things. When we go for large scale cultivation, we have to see basically what kind of varieties we are cultivating now. There are so many regulatory requirements that I'm not going to discuss here in detail because this is not the forum for that. Now, coming to this conservation, I think Dr. Jain, Dr. Anita Jain also, she'll be talking more on this sustainability aspect. But let me remind you, Dr. S.K. Jain and Mr. Sundarlal Bhavana, he happens to be uncle of my wife. They both, these personalities, they work for the conservation and for traditional knowledge and traditional systems. Now, Dr. Sundar Bahuguna, he sat beside this river Ganges on the right-hand side. If you see, this is a river Ganges. This was the old town of Tehri Garhwal, but now it is complete under the water. If you see now, this is here now. Nobody can see that. What we have lost in this is very important for us. The bioresources we lost everything. We lost associated traditional knowledge. Sometimes in the name of development or these policymakers, they do not understand the importance of these things. The whole civilization, when you merge in the water, I think we lose many things there. It is not just bioresources, it is whole the traditions, we lose. This is another thing that now we are changing actually our land pattern. On the left hand side, if you see here, actually I studied, this is a small town Uttarkashi in the Uttarakhand. I studied here way back in 1970s. Those days I remember this was all full green paddy field. Now this paddy field, this is another problem for our country. If you see the all fertile lands, how they have converted into concrete jungles. Now see the condition on the right hand side here. So this also we have to remember how to really take care of our fertile lands. We should really register, and we should register to the extent whether it is a development or whatever way, but we should really safeguard our cultivated lands, our fertile lands. I'm telling you, in the time to come, maybe in after say a few decades, because the West is waiting for us to exhaust our fertile lands. They are just waiting, okay, and they will really force us to import all kinds of grains and materials from them. The time will come when we will lose all our fertile lands like this, and we have to import. We will not have any other option other than to import all our cereals, legumes and everything. This is the way, like one is the plantations or the contract farming, or maybe the cultivation of medicinal plants if we have to really sustain. And then another way is like plantation of this kind of uh, species. This is Pterocarpus marsupium. We are using this plant because in traditional we found that this cups basically in Madhya Pradesh. They just put water in these cups of the wood of Pterocarpus marsupium. They soak it overnight, and maybe in the morning they drink the water for treating or taking care of the diabetes. Now we have a formulation on this. This is Terosol and maybe many other things. Even other companies also they've started working on this. But then we realize this is a tree species. Okay, if we take it through auction program from the forest department, but we realize this is important to replenish the populations. We have to really plant it back. So far, we have planted more than 50,000, species, 50,000 plants in Madhya Pradesh, and we are still going on this with this program. Now, this is another important species. Maybe some of you may be interested. This is Boswellia serrata. This is also available in maybe border areas of Rajasthan, Gujarat, and Madhya Pradesh. What we found important is I worked with this American Herbal Product Association, and we created a dossier, how to really maybe take care of the harvesting, how to sustainably harvest the gum region of Salai Kukul. So that is very important for us because there was a concern to put this species in the CITES. And this species basically is endemic to India. It doesn't occur outside, but especially people from Germany and from US, they were interested to put it in the CITES list. Putting anything in CITES is not a problem, but you just kill that species. You cannot use it, after some time, because then you have to go through the hell of a process, and then you cannot really utilize this. The best way for me, what I understand, you go for large scale plantations, large scale farming, cultivation, and then take out the species from CITES so that at least your people can utilize for many purposes. Even the farmers will be benefited. Now, ethnobotany and entrepreneurship. Today, we are living in the world of IT, where everybody is talking about IT sectors and other things, and we are really struggling. Even our students are struggling to get the job. If you are studying botany, ethnobotany, where to get the job. The most important thing is what I believe, that every student should be empowered right in the beginning. When you are teaching the students, they should be actually taught like as if they are preparing for entrepreneurship. Ethnobotany is a big subject. It's a very it's a wonderful subject in the sense the student, if he is given a task to study a community, he must be told that you have to identify one product in that particular community and see what you can really achieve for the community. Can you design one product in the community, for maybe anything? It could be food, it could be medicine, it could be fiber, it could be textile, it could be maybe artisan kind of thing, handicraft, whatnot. I mean, the student has to be very, very intelligent. When you go in the field, just don't document the information. Try to find out their uniqueness or their strength. What actually can be translated into a product. That should be the attitude right from the beginning when you're starting any project. Don't write a project just for the sake of getting funds. Write a project to produce one product at least. end of the project, you must have one product in place. And that's how entrepreneurship is very, very, maybe I think of utmost important there. So how to empower the custodians of bioresources and TK? This is important. We have to really, when you are working with the custodians of bioresources, that means the ethnic community, you have to empower them. This is important for us, for the ethnobotanists, when we go in the field. We have to create intellectual property for them, for the society. Okay. And we have to really look for this kind of one district, one product program. Now we have, other day we have a seminar on these exports of the Ministry of Commerce, and one person, he is actually taking care of Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, and Chhattisgarh, those areas. He is head of the post office, and he mentioned about this Dak Ghar Niryat Kendra. How this DNK, they are actually, helping the, villagers to take care of their unique product and make it like, an exportable product. Then this is also important. I think this is a big subject, empowering biodiversity management committees, how they can help the ethnobotanists, and how they should be helping the local community to develop this kind of products and to take care of this bioresources. This maybe one day seminar completely, so I would not talk much about this. This is my final slide. So what I'm trying to convey here, this is all traditional knowledge bioeconomy. What should be the way forward? We have to identify useful, effective, and product-oriented documentation. We have to do this kind of documentation in the field. Okay. Then whatever is there, we have to really apply this kind of cross-cultural aspects. Then establish the credibility and validate the traditional knowledge. And what is available with the community, that we have to make them aware. They must know this is their unique product or unique bioresources or associated knowledge. And this they can really take care, they can take it forward with the help of modern tools, or maybe somebody from outside. You have to use those kind of technologies, then prioritize that unique knowledge, technology, and go for the value addition. This is our responsibility also. And those who are actually related to the community. Then helping generating IP, intellectual property, for the ethnic community. This is very important when it comes to benefit sharing. Then we have to find the ways to reduce pressure on their bioresources to sustain. We cannot simply exploit the bioresources from there. We have to tell them, if you identify some unique product, how to make it, propagate, and how to make it as a commercial quantity. Because if you have something unique there based on certain plant resource, and if you tell it outside, people would simply take away the bioresources from there. I'm telling you very frankly, I've been in field, in the botany field, for long years, and many people, they ask me, so many things, so why don't you just now tell us something unique? I said, no, unless it has a cultivation possibility. See, if you know that now this plant or tree or shrub can be cultivated at a larger scale, and this can be used sustainably, then only I suggest. Otherwise, we never suggest any bioresources to anybody, whether it is very unique or even if it is, it has a huge potential. Then this is also important, I think, creating ethnomedicinal plant extract library. Some of you you can think of this kind of thing. This is very, very important and unique. This will be unique to the country. Then promote cultivation of useful bioresources and help the bioeconomy. This is very, very important for all of us. This is a take-home message basically for all of us. With this, I end here. Thank you very much.